It wasn't easy. I grew up with a stepfather who, at the age of 8, started sexually molesting me. My firstborn child was born when I was 14, 15 years old. Then I was told he died, and I watched him be murdered in front of me when I was 8 months pregnant with my oldest daughter now. I got married when I was 17 to get out of the home. I was raped 19 times total in my whole life. I was on drugs. I started smoking marijuana when I was 8, smoking cigarettes and drinking when I was 8. Started doing crack cocaine after I had a miscarriage. When I came to Durham and I started using crack after having a downfall with conceiving and carrying children, I had a $1,500 a day crack habit. And in order to support that habit, I sold my body. I did despicable things, not only to myself, but to other people. So despicable, I even stole money from my own mother. Considering that I went to church as a child growing up, I couldn't understand why he would allow those things to happen to me. So my view on God was very little, if any. I doubted that there was even a God at one point. Then one day, incredibly, my life changed. It was an Easter Sunday, and I can remember this like it was yesterday. I was sitting in the room in the house by myself, only a chair in the whole empty house, and the power went out. And I started to get scared. Something told me to turn on my phone. It had a radio on it, and it was iHeartRadio. I was listening to K-Love music. And this song came on as tears started rolling down my face. And all of a sudden, this big, bright, luminous light came into my life. And I looked up. I wasn't scared, I wasn't nervous. I was at peace for a change. Neighbors were in awe that I had power and they didn't. But there was no power in my house. It was God. Standing next to him, I didn't know it was him. There was no face, but there was arms open, wide open. And my grandmother, who I never saw walk, she was standing there. And she told me, she says, I couldn't be there for you when I was alive, but I've been praying and talking with God daily for you. The neighbors came to see why I had power, and they didn't. I was speechless, and everything changed for me because I knew there was a God. When you beat down so much that you didn't even realize that there was a God anymore, it is an incredibly awesome feeling to know that there is a God, that things can change. God blessed me with a man that had been in my life prior, and he's blessed us both with 9 years clean. We are getting married, and I am so blessed that I can't understand why. After blessing me so much, he just keeps blessing me. There's so many other people out there that need to be blessed. My prayer is that this amazing church that has come into my life has just made it incredible for me. And for me to be able to tell just a small portion of my testimony, if I could change one life, one child, I feel like I have accomplished what God has asked me to do. When God stretched out his arms to me, I get a buzz just by talking about him. I feel like I'm floating right now, just talking about something that happened so long ago. That if I could do one thing to change anybody, I'd bring them right here and let them hear my story. Because if I could change one person, one child, one household from the abuse and the not knowing whether God loves them. He brought me through 15 years. If he could do it for a sinner like me, Lord knows what he will do for anybody and everybody else if you allow him to.